Assalamualaikum and good morning. Welcome to FIN420. FIN420. Give me a second. I will try to share slide. Okay, so this is FIN420 Financial Management. For you guys, please register your attendance as usual in your future. Okay, dah boleh sign in lah your attendance accordingly to our group. So this is group 2B. Okay, I had the earlier session with group 2A at 8:30, but before we go into details, what is FIN420 financial management? Let me introduce myself. Okay, let me double check. Okay, boleh dengar kan? Okay, my name is Muhammad Faizal. I got my PhD in Islamic Finance from Durham University, and then way before that, I got my MBA, my degrees, and also my diploma from UiTM. For my professional qualifications, I have registered financial planner, RAP, and Sharia registered financial planner from Malaysian Financial Planning Council, MFPC. And on top of that, I'm also their certified MFPC trainer. Okay. Used to work with UiTM before. Okay, but now I'm currently attached with UPSI in Tanjung Malim. And I had a short stint with M-Bank before for about 4 years. And at the bottom there is my contacts, my mobile number and my email address. And yeah, that's a bit about myself, right? And I've been teaching PJJ ini quite a long time already, since when? 2011-ish. So 14 years ago, I started teaching PJJ. Okay, so for this course, financial management, we have 3 credit hours. And again, if you notice this semester, we have a different structure in terms of our meetings. Usually for this course, we just have like 7 seminars, 2 hours each. Okay, but starting this semester, in order to comply with, I think, MQA requirements, so the meetings have been increased from 2 hours to 3 contact hours. So we're gonna have 1 hour on Saturdays and 2 hours on Sundays. So therefore, the whole week we're gonna meet for 3 hours. And for the 1 hour sessions on Saturdays, it's gonna be fully online. Okay, starting from today, okay, online. But on the Sundays, okay, except for this week. Okay, this week kita buat online lagi sebab kita dapat arahan for the 5th and the 6th of April. The session will be conducted online, okay, via macam kita guna Google Meet. But from seminar 2 onwards, just on Saturdays, we're gonna meet online. Okay, but on Sundays, we're gonna meet face to face lah in Puncak Alam. Okay, bear with me sekejap. Okay, so this is the schedule, right? I had my earlier session with group 2A at 8:30 in the morning today. Sebab kita punya ni just 3 credit hours kan, so kita punya Saturday just 1 hour lah, not 8:30 to 10:30, just 8:30 to 9:30 for group A, and then for you guys it's 10:45 to 11:45 on Saturday. Okay, but for Sundays, right, it's gonna be 10:45 to 12:45, 2 hours. Okay, so this is our classroom lah, FSK 6, level 6, PK 35. Okay, so for tomorrow still online. Okay, jangan pergi pencak alam tu, tak ada orang. So this class will be used starting seminar 2. Okay, seminar 2 kita akan jumpa on Sunday lah, face to face. So that's about the schedule and also the class line. Okay, so with regards to the course, this is basically the introduction of finance. Okay, and this course is designed to enable students to understand the basic concepts of finance. Okay, so we have 11 topics. Later on, I am going to show you the 11 topics. And it covers quite a broad concept of finance. Okay, obviously it starts with the introduction lah, the concept of finance, the definition of finance, who are the participants. Okay, and then we move on to more technical in terms of the financial ratios, the financial statement, understanding the financial statements, how to do cash budgeting, pro forma financial statements, the concept of time value of money, okay, how to manage your working capital, and then we do require sometimes financings. So we're going to explore what are the sources of financings, either short-term basis or long-term basis. And we're going to wrap up with the capital budgeting topic on topic 11. So basically the description here covers the whole topic that we're going to go through throughout the semester. So at the end of the course, students should be able, number one, to explain current and future financial plans. Okay, so for CLO1 ni selalunya kita akan measure, okay, the learning outcomes ni, macam mana kita nak tahu whether you understand or not, by having the test. So test tu akan menentukan lah sama ada you understand how the finance works, okay, for the corporates. Remember, financial management ni focus on the firms ataupun corporates punya decision makings. It's not individuals punya decision making lah. Okay, so you always have to put yourself in the position of a company or a firm in making decisions, right? That's number one. Number two, to report corporates or the corporation's financial positions and performance using financial tools. Okay, so untuk the second CLOs, the cost and outcome number 2 ni, usually we're going to measure it using group project. Okay, it's going to be a group work, and that group work akan involve how you measure and do reports on financial positions and financial performance. So what is financial position and performance? We're going to learn this in topic 2 and topic 3 later. Okay. And the third CLO is to apply the knowledge of financial planning in order to manage shareholders' wealth in achieving the financial management goals. So ni kita akan buat mostly using individual assessment. Okay, it's either quiz or it can be take-home assignment for you to apply your knowledge. Kita dah ajar macam mana nak buat cash budget or even pro forma, for example. And we're going to apply that knowledge and going to be tested using quiz ataupun take-home assignment. Okay, so talking about the content. So we have 11 topics altogether, as I mentioned. Okay, my initial plan was to complete the introduction slide ni together with topic number 1. Okay, for 1 hour. Okay, but based on the earlier, okay, we have a trial and error lah for this semester sebab this is the first time kita buat 3 jam for one seminar. Okay, even though it's split in between 1 and 1 plus 2. So like I said, initial plan to complete the intro plus topic 1 tapi tak berjaya. Okay, previously when we just had 2 hours session, topic number 1 ni memang I'm going to ask the students to read by themselves. Okay, sebab dia teori sahaja. just introduction, a bit about what is finance, like I said, what the participant and so on. And I'm going to go straight to topic 2 selalunya. Okay, before. Okay, but since we have extra 1 hour, so I try to explore jugalah topic number 1. But again, as I said, I think quarter je kot from the slides that we have. I just completed the quarter part, the quarter section of the presentation ataupun for the slide. So therefore, gonna see how later. Okay, how fast we can complete, but I'm sure we're not gonna complete topic 1 everything by today. So I'm gonna bring forward that tomorrow a bit, maybe as an introduction ataupun refresher before we go straight to topic 2 tomorrow. Okay, so we have intro to financial management. Like I said, part of it will be discussed today, and then we're going to continue a bit tomorrow, and then continue with topic number 2, understanding financial statements. So when we talk about financial statements, okay, financial statements ni, you dah ambil accounting if I'm not mistaken. Kalau I ingat the structure well, you supposed to have accounting, basic accounting initially before this. And in accounting, you learn how to create or to prepare the financial statements. We have the balance sheet, the income statement, ataupun the statement of financial position, statement of financial performance, okay, cash flows and so on. But here, we are not preparing the financial statements. Instead, we're going to use the financial statements to make analysis or to do analysis. So before we do the analysis, we have to go back to understand, okay, what are the components of financial statements? So topic number 2 is just a recap. What are the components of financial statements? What are the elements for each statements that we're going to go through? The financial position, financial performance, profit and loss. And once we understand that, you dah ingat balik what are the components, what are the items. Then we do topic number 3, financial ratios and analysis. And topic number 3 ni is quite important. Okay, because the financial ratios and analysis will be your group project. Okay, your group project based on CLO number 2 tadi tu. We base solely on topic 3. Okay. Walaupun the topic 3, like I said, they somehow related dengan topic number 2 as well, because topic number 2 is the explanation what is financial statements is all about. But topic number 3 tu you buat the analysis based on financial statements. And yeah, the explanation of the group project will be done after kita complete topic number 3. Okay. So then we move on to topic 4, financial forecasting and planning. So kalau tadi financial ratios and analysis, this is based on historical data, and we measure the past performance. But when we talk about financial forecasting and planning, this is something for the future. Okay, benda yang belum berlaku lagi. Kalau financial ratios, kita take financial reports ataupun annual reports of the company based on the previous performance. But topic number 4, we still use the ratios and analysis and the financial statements. But now we make do of the statements from the previous reports ni. And then we're going to try to forecast ataupun try to plan for the future. Okay, so that's the difference between topic 3 and 4 lah. 3 to based on past performance. Topic 4 is something for the future. Okay, so 3 and 4, they relate somehow sebab kita menggunakan financial statements as our source of documents. Okay, and then in topic 5, we have working capital management. So when we talk about working capital, this one, working capital. So working capital relates with current assets. So kalau you dah belajar account sebelum ni, I believe you've heard about current assets. So dalam current assets ada a few items. Okay, and among others we have here lah. We have cash, marketable securities, account receivable, and inventory. So we have 4 different current assets kat sini. So therefore, topic 5, 6, and 7 is actually related. So topic 5 is the introduction, whereby we discuss what is working capital is all about and what are the components. So component dia 4 ni lah. So the first two is cash and marketable securities. In detail, we're going to discuss in topic 6. And then the final 2, accounts receivable and inventory, we're going to discuss in topic 7. Right. So before we move forward, based on the topics alone, lupa nak inform ataupun to highlight that majority of the topics memang involve calculations. So therefore, you need to have your calculators ready. Okay, especially when we do calculation, most of the time I'm going to ask you guys to calculate. Okay, so you need to have your calculators lah. The actual calculators, not using your phones. Sebab calculator ni, you kena practice to use it, and because the test nanti pun kena guna calculator kan, it's much easier for you to use. The basic calculator will do. Okay, yang basic lah, plus minus times divide tu. And also the root, the square root, and the power tu kena ada lah, kuasa. Okay. So yeah, so 5, 6, and 7 are related. And then we have 2 financing topics, short-term and long-term financing. So these 2 can be grouped together. Topic 8 and 9, short-term financing and long-term financing. So when the company face problems in terms of managing their assets, okay, so they need sometimes to borrow their funds. So how to borrow ataupun where to borrow, what are the alternatives? This will be discussed in topic 8 and 9. Okay, topic 8 and 9, short-term financing and long-term financing. Right, and then we have topic number 10, mathematics of finance. So this mathematics of finance is basically the concept of time value of money. If you have to take business mathematics, I think you've learned about time value of money before. Okay, but kalau tak pernah dengar ataupun tak pernah belajar mathematics of finance or time value of money, we're gonna revisit this topic again. Okay, the concept of present value, future values, the concept of annuity. Okay, semua tu will be discussed in topic number 10. And finally, the topic of capital budgeting. So capital budgeting is a form of investment lah, I can say. Investment, whereby companies want to invest either in new assets, dia nak beli new machines ke contohnya, ataupun they want to invest in new projects. So before they make their investment, they want to calculate whether the investment will make profit or not before they actually fork out their money to make that investment. Okay, so maknanya sebelum keluarkan duit, they can study the possible income, the possible cash flows, and from that expectations or forecasted amounts, then they're going to decide whether that investment is worth it or not. Okay, so that's capital budgeting lah, in short. Okay, maybe in terms of the syllabus ni, the content, this is just okay, sekejap Okay, so this syllabus can be downloaded from your future. I've uploaded this in the course info syllabus section. Okay, so the description, the CLOs kita dah discuss tadi. I've shared with you. And this is the detail, okay, of each topics that I've shared with you. We have 11 topics tadi kan. So in the slide just now, it's just pick the main topics. Okay, tapi here from the syllabus you can see the details for each topic. What are the subtopics for each of the topic? Okay, so contohnya lah, topic 1, introduction. We have 5 different subtopics, and then we have understanding financial statements, financial ratios. So financial planning and forecasting, working capital management, cash and marketable securities, short-term, long-term financings, mathematics of finance, the concept of time value of money macam cakap tadi. And lastly, capital budgeting. So we have 11 topics altogether. So for this semester, I guess there'll be more topics will be discussed in class instead of you have to read on your own. Okay, and there are some topics that we can discuss even further. Okay, because of the limitation of times before. Okay, sebelum ni kita ada meeting 7 kali. Okay, but one final seminar will be allocated for midterm. Sorry, not midterm, final test. Okay, so technically we're going to left with 6 seminars here. 6 seminar tu 12 jam untuk discuss 11 topics. Okay, and there are some topics which is longer and requires more explanation to do. So last time memang tak sempat lah nak cover, is quite rush, and there are some topics memang you have to learn by yourself. Okay, but with this new structure of seminars, hopefully we have more times to discuss important topics. Okay, right. These are the assessments, how the assessment will look like. Okay, so untuk course ni, it's 100% ongoing assessments. Okay, there's no final exam. Okay, untuk course ni tak ada final exam. But we're going to have 2 tests. Okay, test 1 will contribute 20%. Okay, 20%. And then we're going to have the final test. Okay, ataupun test 2 or the final assessment, which contributes 30%. So from the test alone combined, kalau you combine dua ni, tak boleh tulis ni. Let's try. These two combined, ni tak boleh tulis. This I can just jot down. So bila you combine these two, it contribute about 50%. So from the test alone je dah half of your assessment. Okay, 50%. And then you have the group assignments. Okay, as I mentioned tadi, CLO number 2, topic number 3, we're going to have this 30% of group assignment. So 30% tu contributed by project written report 20%, and 10% comes from the presentation. Okay, so presentation ni is based on the group project, the same group project. So maknanya you buat satu assignment je, group project. Okay, but the output ada dua. One is the written report 20%, then another one is your presentation, another 10%. Okay, with the same work basically, 30%. All right, and finally 20% comes from the assignment. Okay, assignments ataupun quiz lah, you can say quiz. So these contribute 20%. Okay, 20%. So altogether 100 lah. Okay. So at the back here is the recommended text and reference. And again, that's my contact as I showed you earlier. Okay, and again, for document ni you boleh download je dalam future. Look for the dalam I discuss tu, the I discuss punya thread tu. And there's one section at the bottom, dia ada ongoing assessment. Then there's one related to cost info. So I dah upload dekat situ. Okay, so these are the methods as I mentioned. Cuma mungkin I can highlight a few important points lah for these assessments. Rule to pass this paper is very easy. Okay, very simple. You have to ensure that semua assessment you buat, every single assessments that been given to you, that will be given to you, you've done it and submit it accordingly. Okay, so because of the, you can see the distribution of mark is quite huge, kan, 20 and 30% each. Alright, so for example, assignment quizzes ni. Nama pun ada assignments, quizzes kan. So expect more than one. Okay, I usually will have 2. We're gonna have 2 assignments / quizzes. So maknanya setiap satu tu give you about 10 marks. Okay, and then the group project as I mentioned, akan based on topic 3 sahaja lah. Okay, this is based on topic 3, 30%. So remember tadi 20% return report, return, and 10% presentation. Okay, presentation. So give 30% in total. So for the first test, okay, usually we're going to cover the first 4 topics ni. Okay, topic 1, 2, 4, usually. Okay, but since topic 3 kita dah buat group project, so we're going to exclude topic 3 from the test 1. Sorry, so topic 3 ni kita akan fokus only on group project. Okay, so the rest 1 to 4 ni can be in test 1. Okay, so most of the time sebenarnya for test 1 kita akan fokus on topic 4 ni. Okay, for topic 4 ni, financial forecasting ni memang akan jadi core of your test 1. Okay, cuma kita akan mungkin masukkan a few from topic 1 or topic 2 a bit mungkin. Okay, tapi the core product ataupun the core content for test 1 comes from topic 4 sebenarnya. Okay, so that's 20% kan. So untuk assignment dengan quizzes ni, right, so usually comes from topic 5 till topic 7. Okay, this part 5, 6, 7. Okay, usually will be part of assignment and quizzes. Okay, so akan mix lah. So maybe one quiz from topic 5 and then another quiz or assignment from topic 6 and 7. Or just topic 6 saja, depends. Okay, I'm gonna let you know later. Okay, and finally for test 2 ataupun the final test, since kita dah cover a lot kat atas ni, so we just focus on, based on last semester lah from topic 7 until the final topic 11, 7, 11. Okay, so this topic 7 from account receivable ni, last semester keluar for the final test, inventory management kalau tak salah. Up ataupun down until topic 11. Okay, and for the final test, the total marks will be 70 marks. Okay, kalau final exam selalunya 100 kan. When you do your final exam, it's going to be over 100 marks. Tapi untuk final test for this course, you just based on 70 marks. And these 70 marks akan cover from these 7 to 11 topics. And again, it's a huge 30% kat sini. So again, just to highlight, in order to pass, sebab kita punya passing mark 50% kan. In order to pass is 50%. So make sure every component ni you fulfill lah. Maknanya you buat and submit. Okay, so 99% of the people who submit all the content ni, 99% usually will pass with at least 50% lah, and a lot je yang dapat A. Okay, dengan syarat buat semua, number one buat semua lah, but the most important part, do it correctly. That's why I letak situ 99%, because there's always a 1% or 2% of people who might submit everything, semua hantar, tapi because of the quality and also the answers is not up to the standard, okay, there might be 1 or 2% who, even though submitted everything, still fail the course. Okay, but 98%, 99% who submitted everything can pass the course. Okay, so failure selalunya datang daripada mana? Macam saya cakap tadi, those yang submit everything tapi the quality is very weak. Okay, assignment hantar tak jawab semua soalan, ataupun they got very low marks on the test or even the final test, right? So That's one of the costs that contribute to the failures. And satu lagi, the majority of people yang fail, kebanyakannya dia tak buat lah. Dia tak buat one or more components. Okay, dia miss the final test, and then kita contact suruh buat, tak buat-buat sampai habis semester, or dia miss buat quizzes. We have the online quiz and the take home assignment, dia tak buat, sudah rugi 20%. So yang lain ni dia just meet bare minimum, so bila combine still tak cukup 50. Okay, mungkin dapat 38 or 40 contohnya, tapi sebab dia tak hantar satu komponen ni that can contribute at least 10% ataupun half of this, this actually can pass. Tapi bila kita minta to submit, dia tak buat. So yeah, that's among the main reason why people fail basically. Alright, so please be diligent in terms of submitting all the necessary assessments. Submit it according to the timeline if possible. If anything, just get back to me. Okay, I'm quite flexible. Not that lenient, tapi flexible enough, right? So the main important point is communication. Okay, you need to communicate what's your problem, or else I'm not gonna know lah kan. So yeah, that's the rule lah. Okay, communication is key. So this is the recommended text. Okay, boleh cari if you have to. Okay, so this is recommended from the course information given by the coordinator. All right, so I know for sure for final test we're going to do it face to face. Okay, mark your calendar untuk final test ni kita akan buat in seminar 7, the final seminar. And the final seminar sekarang kita ada Saturday and Sunday kan, so we're going to do this on Sunday lah, obviously, in class. Okay, so dalam kelas seminar 7. So mark your calendar, seminar 7 tu berapa hari bulan, and that would be our final test. Okay, and we're going to have a standardized final test, just like final exam. So soalan tu akan diberi oleh coordinator khusus, the course coordinator. And she's the one who compile all the questions. Sebab kita ada ramai aja course ni kan, throughout Malaysia lagi, ada some from branches and so on. So we're going to compile all the questions, and mostly datang from this topic lah, topic 7 to 11, and then we're going to have the same question. So semua groups akan ada soalan yang sama, right? What else? Yeah, but for the first test, okay, historically we do this take home test. Okay, but for this semester I'm going to check with the coordinator whether she's going to stick it with dengan take home test, ataupun since kita ada a lot more meetings, she wants to conduct this in class as well. Tapi tu I tak janjilah, I'm going to ask her. Kalau dia kata it's up to the lecturer, so I might use take home jugalah for the test one. Okay, whereby you have to submit everything online. Okay, but I'm going to let you know about test one later. Okay, kita akan buat ni pun selepas kita dah cover topic 4. Okay, so usually it's after third seminar lah baru kita buat the first test. Okay, so that's about it from the introduction side. I've shared with you the content, I shared with you the syllabus. Okay, so before we proceed with topic number 1, perhaps we take a very short break. Okay, kita rehat sekejap, 2-3 minutes before kita proceed dengan our very first topic. Okay, let's have a short break. Okay, let's resume. Kita start berapa tadi ya? 10:45 eh? So technically we have 11:45, so about 20 minutes or so to cover. So for this topic number one, we're going to explore who are the participants, as I mentioned today, to the circle of the financial management. So we're going to have the financial markets and also the business organization. So we're going to see the goals of a firm, function of financial manager, and also the risk and return relationship. So for this section, or for today at least, I think I can explain up to 1.1 sahaja lah, financial markets and business organizations. But before we do that, let's look at the definition of finance. Okay, the definition of finance. So this is from Gitman, okay, the author of one of the most popular book when we talk about finance, whereby he defined finance as the art and science of managing money. Okay, managing money. So when we talk about managing money, we are not only managing money when we have the money. Okay, we are actually managing the money when we don't have the necessary monies with us. Okay, so therefore, as the finance managers, or who the people who manage finance, needs to be alert and needs to be aware of what are their strategies. Okay, what are the strategies when they have the actual money. Okay, when they have the money, usually kita akan katakan lah, the position of the company is in surplus. Okay, and when the position of the company is on the other side, okay, whereby they don't have the necessary funds available, we're going to label them as the deficit unit. Okay, so there's going to be two sides in the economic, whereby the companies, the managers needs to manage the money or the funds, either in the surplus positions or in the deficit positions. So in making it clearer, perhaps bila nampak tulis surplus kat sini, you imagine the position of the company is in plus. Maknanya dia ada excess, ada extra funds. Okay, and untuk deficit pula dia the opposite lah. So kalau surplus dia ada additional funds, ada excess of funds. Kalau dia in deficit position, dia in minus, meaning dia are in deficit lah. Terms deficit tu maknanya dia punya incomes is less than dia punya outcomes ataupun outflows. So duit yang masuk lebih sikit daripada duit yang keluar. So therefore they are in deficit, so they have less funds. Okay, kalau plus ni dia ada extra funds, kalau deficit they have less funds. So based on these two positions, surplus and deficit, both company kena manage accordingly. Company kena tahu bila dia surplus apa dia kena buat, and at the same time kalau dia deficit apa dia perlu buat. Okay, when surplus, most of the time their decision is revolve around how to invest. They can decide, okay, I have extra cash, I have extra funds. What can I do with these funds in order to get more funds, to get more money, to get more profits? So they have to invest. Okay, invest macam-macam lah. You can invest in stock market, invest in bonds, produce new products, and so on. Okay, and at the same time, when they are in deficit, dia tak cukup funds, they have to do something about it as well. Okay, but dia tak boleh lah invest mungkin, but in these positions, what they're going to do, they're going to borrow. Okay, so they have to know lah what are the options for borrowings or to do financings, and which one is considered the most profitable to them in order for them to borrow. Okay, so that's why for point number 2, okay, when we talk about finance, is to obtain and allocate financial resources effectively and efficiently. Okay, so the keyword yang seterusnya adalah obtain and allocate. Okay, and you can put this word obtain and allocate in this diagram, simple diagram ataupun the write-up yang tulis ni lah. Okay, so when we talk about obtain, kita nak mendapatkan, obtain kan, mendapatkan financial resources, usually comes from this deficit position. So this is where we're going to obtain the funds. So kita kena obtain lah. Borrow, for example. From where to borrow? Can be from issuing stocks. Kita issue stocks in order to obtain funds. Okay, kalau company tu baru nak go public, okay, they can issue IPOs, contohnya. Or borrow from the bank in the form of debts, hutang. Okay, get the money, the funds from the bank and borrow it as a form of debts. So those are the financial decisions that you have to make when you're in deficit positions to borrow or to obtain. And at the same time, if you have surplus, you need to allocate or to put your money, to invest your money based on the criteria you set. Okay, sebab when you talk about investment, you are always bound with the risk factor. Okay, semua investment ada element of risk. So adakah company you sanggup take high risk in order to get high returns? Or if you want to keep it low returns with a low risk possible. Okay, so that's the strategy that you need to know and you need to take in order to allocate. Kat mana nak letak, kat mana nak place your resources accordingly. Okay, so again, that's the techniques that you have to know lah, in order to put and allocate the financial resources effectively and efficiently. And usually, you have to take into consideration the risk factor, the liquidity factor, and so on. Okay, so tu semua kena ambil into consideration. Okay, so that's finance is all about. Okay, tak nak cerita pasal lain lah. Yang penting you get the idea. Okay, the economic idea, how the money can flow from one end to another end, how the money selalunya akan bergerak from surplus to the deficit. So macam mana dia nak gerak from here, those company A. You bayangkan satu company A that have surplus of funds and they want to get more money and they want to invest, and this money can be channeled to this part of the relationship lah, the ones yang deficit ni. So ada satu lagi company B contohnya, they are in deficit, but how to meet between the two? Okay, so kalau go direct macam ni, it's gonna be difficult and inefficient because macam mana you nak cari your counterpart yang memerlukan things to borrow. Okay, things to borrow. So therefore, in economy, in finance, the concept of middleman. So ada orang tengah kat tengah ni selalunya yang akan menghubungkan between the surplus and the deficit. So who are the middlemen? Kita boleh pecahkan kepada dua. We have the financial institution, FIs. Okay, financial institution ni siapa? Termasuklah bank, insurance company, development financial institutions, all those yang masuk dalam kategori banking or non-banking institution lah. Okay, and we have number 2, the financial market. Okay, the financial market. So these two categories of, middlemen act as a intermediaries between the two. Okay, act as an intermediary. So macam mana berlaku? For example, surplus units, company A ada 100,000 worth of funds yang tak pakai. laying around, just ada dalam peti besi contohnya 100,000. So what they do, they're gonna pump the 100,000, let's say masuk dekat bank, financial institutions, dalam FD account, contohnya lah fixed deposit. Okay, so the middleman here take the 100,000 and they're gonna channel it to deficit unit. So deficit unit ni siapa? Orang yang akan meminjam lah, they want to borrow. Okay, can be individuals, can be companies, can be governments. So the deficit units will go to the same institution to borrow the funds for whatever reason lah. Okay, for business ke, for the operations ke. Okay, and they're going to pay back the borrowings, so the financial institution together with the profits. And the profits generated will be shared between the banks, the middleman here, dengan the investor tadilah, the surplus unit. So that's how the cycles or the funds flows from one end here, from surplus pergi ke middleman to the deficit, and then the money will pass back to the middleman and pass back to the surplus unit, and the cycles will grow ataupun will flow in that manner lah. Okay, itu satu contoh lah when we talk about financial institutions. We can use financial markets as well. Okay, kejap lagi I show you the example lah. Okay, so finance is concerned with the process. So process that I mentioned tadi, and we have the institutions and the markets involved as the middleman. Okay, so these institutions and the markets are the middleman, the intermediary. Okay, that involve the transfer of funds between the three parties kat sini. Businesses, individuals, and governments. Okay, dalam economic, okay, there's always three party. We have the household, kita panggil dia household, the firms, and also the government. And these three units can become the surplus and the deficit units accordingly. Dia bukan always government jadi surplus unit. Okay, dia bukan firms always be the surplus unit, tak semestinya. So all of these parties can be surplus, can be here, the ones who allocate the funds, or it can be here, the ones who needs the fund. Okay, and then their role can be interchangeably between one to another. Okay, dia tak ada fixed role lah, dia role dia berubah-ubah. Okay, so for those yang tak bekerja dalam finance pula, we will think, okay, why I need to know about finance? I tak kerja dalam finance department pun. But it is important to you, yang those who work in non-financial jobs, to have this knowledge, to have this, information, because it will be beneficial for you for interaction or communication with the personnel in the finance department. Okay, you know the process, and you can have better arguments or better, communication with the finance department. For example, if you're in procurement department, contohnya procurement department, sometimes dia separate from finance kan, dia ada dalam dia punya admin ataupun operations punya department, and they want to procure companies punya asset ataupun barang-barang keperluan office kan. So if you have this knowledge relating to how to do calculations in terms of budgeting, in terms of how to get the best deal of fundings, for example, so it will be better for you untuk have, like I said lah, you ada knowledge and you can argue, bukanlah bergaduh, I mean you can have better communication with the finance department counterpart, because you have proven with solid calculations and solid justification. So these are the parties I mentioned tadi, okay, as the middleman, the intermediary. As for intermediary, we have two parts, financial institutions and financial markets. So financial institutions will be the intermediary that channels the savings of individuals, businesses, and government. Macam saya cakap tadi, the savings ni selalunya in the form of deposits. Okay, and then the intermediaries will pool the funds. Dia akan kumpulkan semua depositors punya funds, then turn into borrowings. or even investment activities lah. So duit yang depositors put in the bank, for example, financial institutions or bank pull the funds, and then the funds will be channeled to the deficit units yang perlukan duit untuk whatever reason lah. Contohnya beli rumah. Kalau individual needs money to buy a house, for example. So money ni tadi will be channeled by the banks to the home loans punya customer untuk beli rumah, and they have to pay back lah to the middleman, which is the bank, and the bank will pass back the profit shared with the depositors. Okay, so that's how the money flows lah. And then we have one party, which is the financial institutions. But to make because if you rely just on banks, sometimes the funds is not enough. Okay, sometimes the funds is not enough, and especially when we talk about firms or governments, they needs a lot more money. Okay, sometimes the bank cannot afford to give the money to these parts of deficit unit lah. Okay, so how they want to extract more funds, then they have these financial markets. So financial market in which the suppliers of the funds, okay, suppliers of the funds adalah those yang surplus tadi, and dia akan jadikan medium to meet with the demanders of funds. So the demanders of funds adalah those yang deficit. Okay, and by having these financial markets, again, this will be the meeting point. Okay, meeting point between the surplus and the deficit. So kalau financial institution, macam mana dia berlaku? The surplus akan deposit to the bank, and then bank akan channel to the deficit. Tapi untuk financial market slightly different. Selalunya dia akan bermula dengan deficit, whereby the deficit, in order to demand the funds, to raise the funds, dia akan jual ataupun issue instruments. So they are the one who gonna sell, technically sell, issue certificates, issue securities to the financial market. Dia akan jual. Contohnya kalau government needs money, what they do, they issue bond. So government keluarkan bond. Kalau you baca news, selalu nampak lah government issue bond in Malaysia, in US, in Japan, whatever, in order to get funds. Okay, so who gonna give the fund? Fund datang daripada supplier of fund ni lah, the surplus, the investors. So they're gonna buy these government bonds, and the money will be channeled again from supplier, which is the surplus unit, to the deficit. Cuma the initiator is from the deficit unit. Deficit unit ni yang akan raise the funds melalui penjualan certificates, and the surplus fund ni akan take opportunity to buy or to invest by purchasing the certificates with the intention to get profits. Sebab bila dia demanders ni issue the certificates or the securities, they're gonna promise to pay back or to give returns to the suppliers. Okay, so that's how the money flows in the financial market. Cuma dalam financial markets, they have two types. Okay, we have the money market and the capital market. So to differentiate between the two, is just looking at the terms ataupun the length of the contract. Untuk money market, usually short term basis in the debt or marketable securities. And when we talk about short term, selalunya dia berlaku less or equals to 1 year. Okay, less than or equals to 1 year. So anything 12 months and below will be done in money market, short term basis. Okay, but what if the companies want to raise fund longer term? Dia nak pinjam duit ataupun nak raise funds, but for a longer term, so they can use capital market instead. Sebab capital market selalunya melebihi 1 tahun, more than 1 year. So involves transaction in long-term securities, for example, bonds and stocks. Okay, mungkin I boleh tambah lah, instead of just more than 1 year, it includes securities that have no maturity. Okay, macam bonds, memang maturity dia lama, between 5 to 30 years maybe. So it's long term. When company raise bonds, they're gonna have 5 years bond, for example. So dia akan pinjam untuk tempoh 5 tahun, then they're gonna repay within 30 years. Okay, but for stocks, kita tak ada maturity. Stocks that have no maturity. So that's still under the capital market juga. Okay, and this will be the types of financial market. Kita ada primary and secondary. So this one I'm gonna skip and leave it maybe for tomorrow lah kot. So yeah, sorry take a bit more time untuk explain. So I'm gonna stop here for today. And we're going to resume a bit from topic 1 maybe untuk refresh for tomorrow before we proceed dengan topic number 2, which is more important juga lah to revisit the financial statements before we do the actual topic 3, which is how to calculate ratios, because the ratio is important in completing your group project. Okay, so the details of the group project will be given to you somewhere after we've done topic 3. Okay, so habis je topic 3, I'm going to give instructions for the group project. Habis je topic 4, we're going to do our first test. Okay, so that's how it works for the next couple of meetings. Okay, ada soalan?
Sir,
Yep.
Doktor, I nak tanya yang tadi based on financial market tu nampak dia ada tulis stocks and bonds kan. Kalau macam share dalam certain company tu dikira as financial ni juga ke?
Stocks, tu stocks lah tu. Kalau when stock, we invest in stocks. Stocks and shares tu the terms interchangeably change according to the users. People in the UK selalunya panggil stocks, but in America contohnya dia panggil shares. But it's technically the same thing whereby the company that issue their shares in the market and then let people to invest kan. So that's actually is the same as stock ataupun shares.
Okay, faham sir.
Yang kita kalau kat Malaysia ni we invest in bursa Malaysia kan. So itulah dia stocks in capital market. Right, thank you. Ada lagi nak tanya? Alright, kalau tak ada, again, thank you very much. Jangan lupa siapa yang belum sign in attendance, please do so. So you have another 10 minutes or so untuk sign in, siapa yang belum. So we're gonna continue tomorrow. So tomorrow still online for our 2-hour slots. And insyaAllah we're gonna continue with the rest of topic 1 and topic 2 tomorrow. Alright, thank you very much. And
Sir?
Yeah.
Saya yang PM Sir tadi, sama ada esok group A atau B yang Encik Faizal bagi tahu tu.
Group A or B maksudnya?
Hari ni saya masuk B kan?
So you originally group B?
Yes, original B. Lepas tu Encik Faizal suruh saya tukar A untuk tak nak bagi clash dengan ENT.
So for tomorrow you for
saya dah register
45 tu you have ENT punya kelas lah?
Yes, untuk finance 420 saya dah register untuk 2A lah. Tapi saya tak sure esok dia keluar dekat attendance tu 2A atau 2B.
Your name selalunya will be fixed at one group kan. I tak sure kalau dia you tengok in future you boleh access group A or group B in looking for the attendance satu lagi the notes, the past year semua dah upload, you boleh tengok dalam group mana.
Buat masa sekarang ni saya boleh tengok group B lah.
Then you group B lah then.
Tadi dia dah tukarkan saya.
Dia tukar dah tadi.
2A, saya takut esok saya jadi 2A lah.
So to be safe tomorrow 8:30 tu you check tengok tak you boleh sign in group A ke tak, or else you still have to register in group B lah.
Okay sir.
Alright.
Okay, thank you.
Alright. Okay, so again thank you very much and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.
Salam, thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Doctor. Waalaikumsalam.